Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello. What's up, y'all? Back this week again, Wednesday night. Carolina Clamor, our little podcast here. This week we have our special guest, Chris. What's up, Chris?
Hey, doing well. How y'all up to?
We're good, we're
I'm
good.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm excited to have you on, Chris. This was me and Bups. When me and Bups initially, Bups came to me talking about the podcast, and I was like, well, what people would you want on it, right?
Yeah.
And the one that we had lined up was Swatch, because that was the day or two before the Arcadian, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then like you were on the list, and like Reddy was on the list, so I'm glad we're going down the list now of all the people we want to talk to. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm hyped for this.
Nice. I'm glad I made the list.
Yeah, it's not a super exclusive list. If
Yeah.
anyone's down to talk, I don't want it to sound like I'm like a Dr. Evil, I don't have a master plan here, but no, we were definitely a person we were hoping to have on, I guess is a good way to say it.
Yeah,
I like it.
definitely. So, I think probably most NC Melee people know who you are. Maybe not some of the newer people, like in Boone, for instance, and maybe in some other regions. So, just to start off, can you give us an introduction of yourself?
Sure. So my tag is Black Chris. You can also find me as Monochrome. Find me as Afro Dad. You can find me as a few different things over the years.
Yeah.
But I'm related back to Black Chris for now because it's stuck. I've
Yeah.
been playing casually since '07. So even less of you would know the name Robert Pan, but he went to the School of Science and Math, and he taught me a lot of concepts. I had fun wave dashing. I did not care enough to L cancel in that era.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then a couple years later, I went to Chapel Hill, tried to play my rival, and Cam was their suite mate.
Are
So
you
that
talking
got
about
me into going.
like Ronzel Cam, you mean?
Yeah, yeah. Cam was 2 days sweet mate, and they told
Man.
me about Smash boards, and that's the only reason the rest of this happened.
Yeah, wow, so your like inflection point is Cam. Cam is the linchpin to all of this. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I took a bus to go play my rival, and that's how I got into all of this.
Hell yeah.
Um, so that happened, freshman year of college, 2009. So I've been playing for now like 13 years.
That's probably the
Started
longest
out as a
that I've ever heard of anyone playing this game. At least, like, people that I would know, you know? Like, know in person, I mean.
Yeah, there's not too many of us still around. Most people have found other things to really delve their time in. But I'm hooked. The game's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, game
Um,
that's
true.
fun.
yeah. Started Ganon main. At some point, I picked up Fox for Sheik, and then woke up one day and realized if I have a Fox that's better in the Sheik matchup than my Ganon is, I have a Fox that's better than my Ganon.
Yeah. 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 Yeah,
So
dude.
then I just decided to do the rest of everything else with Fox. And so yeah, now I'm just a grown married man with an 8 to 5 job. Um,
With a career.
yeah, something like that. But
what
yeah,
what do you do for work, Chris?
so I'm a lab tech at an adhesive facility. So I mostly consider myself the hands of the operation. I've got a chemist above me who kind of tells me what to mix up usually.
That's pretty
But I
tight.
do like all the testing and stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah, I got my BS in chemistry, so I didn't really like know what exactly I wanted to do with it.
Yeah.
But adhesives is actually a pretty cool field. Like figuring out why and how things stick together, um, actually pretty dope.
Yeah,
So
dude, that
Yeah.
shit
I'm
is
pretty comfy
crazy,
where I'm at.
actually.
I remember when you first got that job. It was like there's that point. I think it was like late 2017, early 2018. Because,
Yeah,
or if
something
this
like
is the same job, because I remember I've
yep.
never I know you for. Okay, I won't go to that point, but I'll say that I've known Chris since like first time I met him was like, this is gonna date myself here too. June 2015. 15, and I met Chris at a Concord tournament. I think we both wore the same T-shirt. That's how I got to talk to Chris, which is crazy.
What kind of
Which is
T-shirt was it?
crazy. I think it was a Zelda T-shirt.
True.
You know the green
Yeah.
Zelda T-shirt with like the,
Yeah.
yeah. Chris knows what Chris knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, no, I remember because I was like, you and Slip played in like grands at the tournament. I said, hey Chris, do you want to play? Then I played you and you just beat the life out of me. You beat the goofy out of me. I'm like, damn, bro. Is it like this? He said, and you said, well, man, Harrison, you shouldn't ask me because if I just came out grand finals, this is what it's gonna be. And yeah, that shit was fucking fun. Yeah, but that's the first time I met Chris. And it's like, I don't know. I'm gonna gush a little because I mean, like, I'm trying to think if there's like, if I have like 4 teachers in this game. One of them's Justin Babbage. One of them is you and the combined efforts of like you and Sneak. One of them is like Mike, and then one of them is Safe. So like again, 2 people, Mike and Safe, maybe even people that aren't known anymore to the newer kids. But yeah, I don't know. So you're definitely like it's a foundational part of why I still play Melee, I'd say.
I'm grateful to hear that. That is the influence I tried to have. I tried to spread the positive gospel of this game. What interactions mean, what it is to play against another human.
Yeah.
Video game.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful to hear that. But yeah. I mean that's more or less who I am. Yeah, Unemployed Chris was a pretty funny era.
That was an interesting time.
Yeah.
It was an interesting time for me too, for different reasons. But yeah, that was interesting seeing you be at like downstairs Geeksboro and be like, man, I kind of have to win this tournament. I was like, damn, bro, that's tough. That's fucking tough. I would really, you were like, or it wasn't, I have to win it. It's like, I would really like to win this tournament. More than normal, right?
I was driving to Winston for those dojo tournaments in the same mindset. Like, I'd really like to make at least this gas money. I'd really like that.
Bro. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Anyways, that me and Chris could do this for like the rest of the podcast. But, so you kind of went over how you got into Melee. You said you learned it from Kevin Pan and NCSSM, and then Cam told you about Smashboards. Did you ever play any fighting games or competitive games outside of Melee, or has it just pretty much been Melee the whole time?
It's pretty much been Melee the whole time. I have purchased other fighting games with the intent of getting. I bought my whole Xbox 360 thinking I was gonna enjoy Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoa. Wow. That's a throwback too.
I got bounced off a wall and I couldn't DI, and I was like, I'm done with this.
Yeah, not really much of a, not a traditional fighting game player, as it turns out.
It just looked like a situation where I should be able to control myself in the air and continue interacting even while on defense, and you just can't. You can't.
You can in Street Fighter or Tekken games. Yeah, I know. You just get you're on a ride.
You lost neutral. Yeah, exactly. You just gotta watch yourself.
You watch a cutscene. Yeah, I mean I've always felt that way too. But so you talked a little bit about how Kevin Pan got you into Melee and how you talked to Cam, but how did you end up in Greensboro? Was that just college of choice? Because that's like the next big step is after you initially, because Greensboro becomes like 2013, right, for you? So
no, I started out in Greensboro. 09.
Did you? You started the whole time. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, so for me, the School of Science and Math was in Durham. That's when I met Robert, TJ, and so that's when I started, wave dashing and stuff. And then I went to UNC Greensboro in 2009, and that's when I got competitive. Mm-hmm. And so I've just been here ever since. Yeah, it was just the nature of college.
And
Ashley decided she was going to UNCG, and I was like, yeah, I'll just chase my girlfriend because I didn't have the willpower to do long distance and go to Chapel Hill.
Yeah, that
would be tough for sure.
Yeah, not a bad decision from your part, as it would seem 10 years down the line, but
It turned out okay. She
Yeah.
stuck around, and
Yeah,
I
right.
stuck around, and yeah, this ring says we're together still. So
Yeah, so
Hell
last
yeah.
I checked, yeah. No, shout out to Ashley. Ashley is cool as fuck. Ashley, one of the coolest, like, there's like an extended group of people that you get to meet from like going to tournaments and shit. Ashley's totally been one of the coolest people I've met in that time,
Basement Geeks Ashley was such a vibe. She'd just be drinking and
Wow.
grading papers and
He would
just
just be, dude, dude. I do feel sad because there's people now who are playing Melee and Triad who never saw like the good part of Geeksboro, like the shit where everyone was downstairs drinking and Lex is talking shit to me and I'm talking shit to Lex and like it's just that time really was cool. Unfortunately, it had its setbacks, but it was cool overall. I'm
yeah,
so far away from it that I can feel like I can say so. But
yeah.
Yeah, for everybody who doesn't know, Geeksboro is a tournament series that was held in Greensboro.
yeah,
In like, it was like a. I only been there
so,
once, but
the
it was like
cinema.
a.
It was
Yeah.
a cinema and coffee house formerly, and it was on Lawndale. Am I right,
Londo.
Chris? It was on
Mhm.
Lawndale. It was on Lawndale, and there were a lot of fucking banger tournaments that happened there. There's maybe my favorite set of all time, at least to talk shit behind, which was Safe versus None. It was the day before Super Famicom, and everyone got to watch Safe and None play winners finals.
That's fucking awesome.
Some of my favorite. Yeah, man, that one that was good. Also did a very good, had a lot of connections that got us to Super Famicom and BMR2 and Super Famicom 2. So hopefully one day we get back there again. But yeah, I'm reminiscing. Like I said, I would be. Um, yes, but no, seriously. I will say to all of the Boone kids who probably watch this VOD, you have things very well. I will fucking say that because Boone is doing great, and that's sick. But y'all have things going super well for you. So ride that shit out as long as you can, man. Ride it as long as you can sustain it. I wanted to talk to you too, Chris, about like the old, like the 2012 UNCG crew with like you and Boney and Mike and like those people. Can you tell me more about what you remember from that time?
Just what I remember was the whole collegiate Smash thing coming out like a year after that, and me just being eternally tilted that we did not have that opportunity because
Yeah,
we
it
would
didn't
have
have the melee games, right?
destroyed. Oh, we would have destroyed. Oh my god.
So
Uh,
so why were y'all who was good? Give me some more. Why were you all good in that crew? Who was all good? I know who they are, but tell the audience.
yeah, I mean, so for, of course, PP was PP.
Yeah.
That man was just built different. His neutral was just immaculate, and he was just thinking at a level above everybody else at
Yeah.
the time. Um, Mike just hit like a truck in that era that people just didn't really do that much. And he was just
Yeah.
very creative. He was artistic. He was an art major, and you could tell
Yeah.
in his Falcon that he was just artistic about it. Um, and then, between me, Ethan, and Boney, we were at least looking at the screen.
Yeah.
That
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
that's more than a lot of people could really say. A lot of people are like looking at themselves and like kind of doing their tech skill and going through their routines. Um, at least the other three of us were looking at the screen.
Yeah.
Um, but in a crew battle between Kevin and Mike, there just weren't like the only thing that would have given us trouble is like if and when HBox was still at U Florida.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Um,
Wow. Yeah, you're
outside
right.
of that, I really don't know if there was other heads actively in college with more than like two, with both a threat like Mike and PP,
Yeah.
and having three other people who are at least able to look at the screen
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
felt could have contested us at that
Yeah.
time. I just didn't think that there was just like, oh, actually at the College of Charleston, there's like 5 heads that are
Yeah,
really
no,
like
yeah, we have one of the 5 gods of Melee and a top 75 player that's like very good and
yeah,
has been good forever, and 3
right.
people who are good at general, right? So you're like, yeah, I believe you.
Yeah. I was like, I
I,
feel like we would have just bodied. Um,
I played
I would-
Mike and I watched Mike get bodied by Kevin, so I'm like, oh, dude, yeah, for
yeah, there
PDI
were so many levels to this
It's
game.
like,
That was the thing I noticed.
but yeah, just having those 2 dudes on the same team, like
Yeah.
Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
jeez, this is like. I hope one day again they do the Melee Games collegiate circuit because that was just so much fun. Even though like we got smoked, I got smoked and shit. Okay,
Mm.
wait. I had a core memory just show up. Hang on.
Ooh.
Wait. Yeah, I want to air this out. The guy who I'm beef with. I'm not even beef with him, but there was a Melee Games thing where we played. UNCG played Chapel Hill in the Geeksboro basement, so we played them at home, right? And that crew had like Decker, who no one knows, CJ, who no one knows, Nick Fry, and Willie P. Willie P. People might know.
Okay.
But I was not beefing with anyone except Nick Fry being on that crew battle because I played Nick, and let me tell you, I wasn't that fucking good when I showed up at Greensboro. I was okay. I was all right, but I wasn't that good. But I was better than Nick. I was fucking better than Nick for sure. And I didn't hold on to it, but I was still a little tight the next couple weeks that no one gave me a phone call and say, hey, Harrison, you want to go take a shot at this? Let's let you go like swap, tap me in for Nick Fry or sub me in or
Yeah.
love Nick to death. But that was an error on somebody's part that you didn't let me go take a crack at those Chapel Hill kids. But it's all right. I mean, that's just that's part of it. That's part of it.
Okay, so Chris, did your crew get to do the college collegiate series? Did you guys get to
No,
compete
we're
in
too
that?
old.
Yeah,
Okay.
it happened right after them, I think.
Did y'all like play any other crew battles of notable?
No. No, we just had a dope class that just never got to play together as a squad.
Okay, I
We,
got you.
we were
Yeah.
all there at UNCG, and we just like it was nice because occasionally like we could get together for fests and stuff, and
Mhm.
like actually just like find an open classroom and stuff, and even just being on campus, we could all play each other. But like just seeing like after graduation and then be like, there's the Melee games and there's all these like
Yeah, which was
prizes
like
and
2013, 2014, I think, is when
yeah,
Melee Games started popping off. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then, like we just
Damn.
graduated and
Yeah.
Mike went to Boston and all that. It's just like, dang it, this would have been dope.
This would have been good a year ago, right? It's always
Yeah.
a day late, a dollar short. Yeah, I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about. So we talked a bit about how like how long you've been a Triad player, and how you started off playing like Ganondorf and eventually switched to Fox.
Mhm.
Do you have the fondest memories of your time in Triad? Do you have any good memories that you want to highlight or good stories that are you would be comfortable sharing, I guess?
Triad Smash. Oh man. It was always interesting. So you might know our old friend Johnny. Not the young Johnny, but the older Johnny.
I think I might. What was their tag? I might know.
Oh, Fantastic Flan.
Okay, yeah, I've heard the tag, but it's been a long
Okay.
time.
Yeah. So I mean, there were just really good fests at his place that were like Smash adjacent.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
Smash
Yeah.
would be there, but like it wasn't really about playing well. It wasn't really about getting better. It wasn't really about being a good player. Like but we would still join up and play there. So like me and Kevin would be there, and then like it would be Fantastic Plan and a dude named Spencer,
Yeah.
and it would kind of devolve into like people trying to Falcon punch each other and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yes. Yes.
And
Like
and
all good
like
fests into.
yeah, I don't know. There was something really enjoyable like looking back on a time like that because I don't think that's something that I see myself engaging in now. Um, just because of where I'm at with the game. But just stuff like that, just being able to like hang out with the guys and like, the rare times it's just like, man, I'm hanging out, I'm drinking with PP, and then
Yeah, I'm drinking with kid with the fifth god, bro. Like, yeah,
yeah.
that's great.
And so it was like stuff like that. I mean, for me, the whole Geeksboro era was just dope. Being able to just go to an event, have a couple beers, and maybe break even by getting second to somebody who drove in from out of town was
Yeah.
just like nice.
Yeah.
Um,
It's always a
but
fun night.
nothing really strikes me as just like, man, this is the moment like of Triad. Nothing really comes to mind. It was just general good times.
Good.
I always love the house tournaments that Chanel hosted. This is like a later in the eras.
Yeah, this is like
Um,
2018, 2019 is when this was.
yeah,
Shout outs to Justin.
Shout outs to
yeah.
Chanel.
So that I mean that whole Smash House was just dope. Bardwell was just a dope
Yeah,
era of
that's
Triad.
there's like if we were to chronicle our series history, like there's like a very like we're still kind of like piecing things together after this has stopped, but Bardwell and Fellas together accounted for a tremendous amount of like people love like just community involvement and then like the experiences you talked about too, where people would go, they would go to Fellas, they would have people would play there, and then sometimes there'd be a tournament at Fellas, and then they would go run a tournament at Bardwell after people got out of. Yeah, shit was crazy, man.
Yeah.
It really was. That was a great time, and I think we're on our way to recovering to a good spot now because of how Picante's been going and having like Sam's been doing a great job of like running locals again. But I will
Yeah.
say, and I will swear up and down the wall, that shit was tight. That shit was so much fun because it was literally it was a very positive feedback loop where people would go to Fellas, it'd be like, this is our first tournament, and then they'd go to Kevin's, and things would happen there that I won't say on stream, but yeah, I that's one of them. You have to be there. I'm not going to say that another experience like that won't come along, and it probably will, but you were there. That shit was fucking
Yeah.
fun.
Speaking
Shit
of
was
Picante, I have a real quick question. So
Sure.
I've only been to one, I think. I've
That
meant to
sounds
I've been meaning to go to more, but just every Monday there's something new that I'm doing or that I have to do. Um, but the one I did go to, Chris, I remember you coming in there, but you didn't enter the bracket. And I just want to get confirmation on this. I was playing my bracket set with, I think it was Pants, and I think it was you and Tucker were like right next to me playing on one of the setups.
Oh
And
yeah.
I don't remember if I saw money on the TV or not, but did you come there just to money match Tucker? What was going on there?
Then I think we split the two games that we got. Um, but no, I did not show up just to money match Tucker. That would have been a great reason to show up. No, I wish I still had that much pride. No, no, right now I just haven't been feeling singles.
Yeah.
True.
Um, I'm getting better at it now, but that would be hilarious though. It's just like, yeah, yeah, he beat me last time. I got beef, and then just
That'd
you
be
show
Be
up. I
some
saw him
old school
bracket.
shit, bro. Like, hey, bro, I am not. It was just some thug final shit. No, that would be so fucking funny. That'd be so funny. Yeah, no, that's what I heard through the wind. But I'm like, man, I knew you known you for long enough, and I'm like, I don't think Chris would do that unless he said so. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like I don't think he would do it just because. But
No, that would be hilarious. No, we were definitely playing real melee though. It was
Yeah.
it was
Hell
it
yeah.
was a real match, at least
Tucker
on my end. I can't speak for Tucker, but I mean
Tucker's
he was
good as
shooting a
fuck.
gun. I don't think.
I
So you were
am.
just coming to like check out the venue or something?
Yeah, I do. I like supporting what Sam is up to. I
Hell
want
yeah.
to support as best
Nah,
as I
dude.
can, and I
Shout out
feel
to
like
Sake. He's
having
fucking
bodies
Yeah,
sick.
in the
100%.
building.
Sam is the
Yeah,
person since I left, and of course other people as well. Justin's done some of it. Paul Chastiser, Swashmill, they've all done some of it. But a lot of those guys have picked up a lot of stuff since I'm not in town Greensboro anymore. So they've done a lot for the scene and stuff. And
yeah, for
so
which I am eternally grateful because I just don't have the bandwidth to do any of that right now.
yeah,
It's hard. It's not
I
easy
just
for
yes,
I
sure.
have
yeah,
I, yeah, I have limited interest in community management now. Um, Something about what happened in the past with Jared, and you know this name, Harrison,
yes, yeah,
broke me a little bit on
yeah,
that end.
yeah,
Um, so now I just want to compete when I'm ready to compete, and the rest just kind of falls where it may. Um, I still love the community, but I feel like one of my drawbacks as a competitor was being too friendly and
yeah,
like not wanting to see people I cared about lose.
yeah,
And so that was like a secondary reason for me to like feel like I wanted to step back from that kind of role because I still kind of wanted to be like, y'all suck and I'm beating y'all. But like I
yeah.
couldn't,
Yeah, yeah,
but I couldn't do that very well. But yeah, something about Jared kind of broke me for like being a community ambassador. But like I love that others are stepping up. But I still like I value supporting the events that exist. So I do try to go there like whenever me and Sneak aren't teaming. Right now, me and Sneak are just teaming.
True.
On Mondays, there's a coast to coast doubles tournament on
that's
NetPlayer.
tight.
Oh yeah.
And so with that double circuit being on Monday, I'm like, okay, like if Ryan can team, like then that's what I'm doing Monday
Yeah,
nights. Um,
good old school
but
team here.
I still like showing up and having a presence in the building and letting my presence be known because I still like to believe I have value in the community that way.
Yeah,
I
no,
try to
of
get
course you
friendly
do.
when I can, but
Of course you do. I mean, like I'm kind of I've been a little more limited with like work and school and stuff, but I've tried to be like around Picante and go to tournaments as much as I am physically able.
Mhm.
But I do feel some days I'm like I do kind of get tired of the community management side of things, and I really just want to play singles right now. So I'm like the more I can do that, the hope. I've been doing a bit of sitting in my room and grinding fucking vods and shit. So like I just really want to play again. So like I won't go into details, but it's yeah, I just really want to fucking play singles again. Like that's what it is. And it's just that time of year, so I'm getting fucking the shit kicked out of me.
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah.
school stuff, all that stuff.
yo, what's
It,
up, Chi?
it sounds like you guys are kind of, at least as far as like what format you're favoring right now. Chris, you're leaning more towards doubles and Harry singles.
Yeah,
Do y'all want to talk about that a little bit?
sure. No, I'm cool to talk about that. If you want to talk about your why you like doubles, Chris, I think that's a good thing to
Yeah,
start
yeah.
with.
Tell us what's up
So
with
it's
that.
it's funny. I I felt like I saw this question coming, and so it actually led me to get introspective about like, wait, why do I like doubles? And the more I thought about it, the more I came to the conclusion that I had just been blessed with really good teammates who
Yeah,
actually know how to play doubles.
yeah,
So as soon as Sneak came down from New Jersey, he knew how to play doubles and
yeah,
he liked playing doubles. And NC was kind of clicky, and I'm just like the anti-click kind of person. So I was
yeah,
like, sure, you want a team? Let's team. You're good. Like, I don't care.
yeah. I don't give a fuck about anything else. Yeah, no, totally. Yeah,
Yeah. And so for me, it was just much easier to potentially get my money back from playing doubles with Sneak, like long
yeah.
story short,
No, yeah,
than
no,
playing singles.
yeah,
And so it was easier to make money, and I just always was blessed with good teammates. So it was a short era where I was teaming with Kevin, And long story short, like for roughly a lot of my current improvement has been built around the mindset of, hey, maybe if I'm good enough, Kevin will want to team with me again at stuff where we both end up at. I'd like to
Yeah.
be a familiar face for him, and it would be really cool to team with him again.
Yeah.
Um,
Get someone
so
slip this message into PP's Twitch inbox.
Mhm.
Don't be flagrant about it, but like just slide the piece of paper across the desk. Just let him
yeah,
know he hits them. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Good.
No, I mean I've been winning his sub tournaments for like the last 5 months. Like he knows I've been improving.
I've been seeing that shit, Chris. You've been
Yeah,
rolling people in those fucking tournaments. I was like,
I love those tournaments, man.
someone better fucking team with Chris, man. I don't know. He just, yeah. So
So
yeah, totally.
but like I realize now, like I didn't really understand doubles at all, and I haven't really been that good at it. But I've had such good teammates that it made me feel like I was good at it.
Yeah.
And so singles, there just isn't any of that crutch. It's just you and the
Yeah,
opponent.
you and the other guy or person,
Yeah.
etc.
And so, if you do a dumb back air and you get crouch canceled, you can just die, and Sneak's lasers aren't going to save you, you know?
Yep.
And and so there was just like less of that mentally perceived BS, and so
True.
I told myself I liked doubles more. Um, Now that I understand more about both formats, I think I might like go back to at least playing and entering singles stuff.
Hmm.
But yeah, like looking back, I was like, oh, it was just easier to make money, and I had really good teammates due to vague social connections. Huh? I
Yeah.
liked doubles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll say too, because I'm more on the singles side of the aisle here, but I totally agree with your reasons. Like, I think doubles. We had Hassel and Isle on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and they talked a lot about why they kind of preferred the doubles format and how they thought it was like kind of underexplored too, relative
Yeah.
to singles.
Yeah. Everybody's bad at doubles except for the people who are good at doubles, and that's part of what
Yes,
made it so
they
much easier to
they
make money.
said almost the same thing. I think. Yeah.
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 Chris.
I guess to mirror your reaction, I really want to play singles now because I remember when sort of knew about this, Chris, but I basically quit Melee for like a year and a half, 2 years.
Hmm.
So from about smack in the middle of COVID, like October 2020 to February 2022. I played 4 tournaments, which for me that's basically that's nothing, right?
Yeah.
But now as I've come back and LAN, listen, I I think Slippy is the best thing we could have possibly got out of that just nightmare of the last 2 years, right? I'll never disrespect the work that Fizzy put in, shit like that. There's nothing on this planet to me that compares to LAN Melee and like playing against the other person next to you. And I remember when I went to Bibber and I played people and I was like performing all right, but I was like, man, I'm still like, I basically like, I that's like my drug of choice is going and
Yeah.
playing people in like the singles tournament. I'm going to beat you because you're the other person at the setup. Yeah. And once I remember when I drove home from Picante in the middle of October, which is the last tournament I entered, which is a month and a half ago. I was like, man, I could play in fucking singles tournaments until I'm 30. Like, I literally don't give a fuck. As many of them as I can enter, I don't care, But yeah, that's where I've stood. And like I said, it's been a lot of Slippy in my room and VOD review, and I'm getting antsy, but it's fine. It's fine because I feel like I've been around long enough. I have something to prove, and I want to like go out and give my best impression of myself.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I
And
definitely. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I'll finish. I'll
Yeah.
say in personal advances and me getting better at like juggling priorities and stuff has made it so I'm like, oh, I think that the way I want to do things is completely normal, manageable in my time, and like I can just do it for a while. But go ahead. Go ahead, Bubs.
I was just
That
gonna
was
say I
my.
definitely agree with the point you made about Slippy and LAN. Um, I don't know what it is. Maybe my computer's just not very great, but like entering a netplay bracket and like, and you know, we've been doing like or at least in the past, it's kind of slowed down a little bit recently. I know a lot of people have been busy, but we were
Yeah.
doing the Melee and the Monitor, you know, every other week, and those were always so much fun. But that's where it's like, you know, we're all hopping in the Discord call, we're all talking to each other, we're all watching people who are our friends stream their games to us, which is so much fun, and it's that's great, and I love playing. I love doing that. But then, like, I'll enter like a net play bracket for like you know whatever dev dog is hosting, right? And I'll
Yeah.
play some games, and it's like, damn, this just makes me so mad. And y'all know me, I don't like. I
Yeah, you don't
very
really get
rarely
mad.
get mad,
No, you don't, Bubs. But
and
no.
so like
Yeah.
that never happens to me in person. Um, so yeah, I guess that's my point. Is like
Yeah.
in person, it's just there's a difference. Some people say
Yeah.
there isn't, but
No, there
I feel
totally
it when
is.
I play the game on a
Yeah, there.
CRT versus on my computer. So that's
People
how
who
I
say
feel
there
about
isn't a
it.
difference are smoking crack rock. I don't give a fuck. Yes. And like I think I over like on an average hole, an aggregate hole, I've definitely gotten more mad at playing in net play tournaments than I have playing in tournaments in real life. Like I've had the like I'm mad about like I've had the I'm frustrated at myself kind of mad when you don't spike, you don't yell or nothing, but you go take a walk outside and you
Yeah.
know for 5 minutes, you know, very which I would now consider just be normal if you're invested, normal losing behavior. But on like Slippy, I've like I've punched the wall next to my desk a couple of times, like playing net play tournaments, and I'm like like you said too, Buffs, like you're not a person that really gets mad or like super emotional when you play. I know that. I've known you long enough to say that I agree with you, but it's like something about Slippy and the way that people play because it's on a computer is just like, yeah,
Yeah.
yes, and
I've
it's
stopped playing unranked
absolutely
altogether because of that.
yeah. And I think Slippy, this is I'm parroting LSD's words here, or Logan. I'm sorry, that's the pre-esports. I've been around too long. Um, I'm parroting Logan's terms here. But I asked him, it's like, what do you think about net play? He said, man, that shit is frustrating, but it makes you get better so much faster. And I was like, yeah, you know, not unranked, but playing with like good people no matter what. You know, so yeah, I totally think that it's an important tool, but it's like, man, if you can't go into that with the right mindset, it's just a fucking, it's a mess.
Yeah. So Chris, going off of that a little bit, how do you feel like about like playing doubles in an online tournament? Like I assume there's differences because you don't have your partner there next to you, but you know, there's ways you can get around with that, maybe like getting in a call together or something like that. What do you think
It
about
is an
that?
option, and that's what I do with Snake. So we definitely have a call that we're in. I don't know if me and Meat are gonna do that.
Yeah,
And looking at it now, like we played yesterday without being able to talk, and like it was fine. And I'm garbage at communicating anyway, because I don't really know what's happening.
yeah,
And so
yeah.
part of part of why I thought I liked doubles is because usually I used to feel like if you're looking at the screen, the answer is pretty clear about what you should do next. Um, I feel that way less now, but I feel like overall, I'm just not usually gonna like, oh yeah, you know, the sheep was boxing me out and the fox was edge guarding really well. Maybe we should go to top platform. Like I don't perceive the game well enough and store information well enough for that to like matter for me.
Mhm.
Um, Connection things aren't that bad usually. Either that or my brain is just able to fill in the rest of frames often enough to where I'm not too
Yeah, you're
bothered.
not worried about it.
Um, but like I like I don't really need I don't really feed off the energy of others that much. um, being in the setting doesn't really bother me that much because for me, the things I'm working on as a player are more or less irrelevant on what the other people could just be computers for all I care.
Yeah,
Am
yeah,
I, for me, it's like, am I looking at the screen? Am I reacting at the points where I'm supposed to be reacting? Which is like something I've only like vaguely just learned now, is the concept of reaction points and how Drug Fox and people below him view that kind of concept. And so it's just like, am I looking at the screen? Am I making valid decisions? Am I having good move choice? And am I just like doing sensible things at all times? And am I looking at my own character?
yeah,
90% of it is, am I looking at my own character?
yeah.
Everything else kind of follows as long as I can just like look at the rest of the screen instead of like watching myself get comboed. Um, and so for me, like I do not mind doing a doubles tournament um, online at all. I look very much forward to the one that's happening in about an hour because I think me and Meat are gonna sweep and it's gonna be so much fun. And hopefully David and Shaksa don't give us any real problems.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
heard. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead,
almost
Bups.
forgot about that. Shout outs to the doubles tournament happening tonight
Yes.
in the Boon Melee Discord. Doubles on the Donator.
Double
Little bit of funny stuff going on with that, but I think it's still
little
happening.
bit, little bit of small dog behavior going on with that.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly. That's a really interesting perspective. I've never really, I guess, thought of it like that in a way. I also don't play very many online doubles tournaments, so.
There aren't very many. That's the
Mhm.
frickin' problem.
Yeah.
Well,
this
there
this
aren't.
Monday
Yeah,
circuit just got started. Before that, there was like this thing called Cases Doubles, which was like
yeah.
happening every other Saturday that me and Sneak never got to enter, and I never really figured it out. And I think me and Geg entered one,
Yeah,
Shima Geg.
yeah.
Um, that went kind of mid. I don't really remember, but we didn't do as well as we should. I don't think I was looking at the screen. And but yeah, I'm now much more interested in like doing solo training and eventually entering more tournaments. But like for me, tournaments are a way to see where I'm at and then like test what I need to work on.
Yeah.
But I already know so much of what I need to work on that I'm like less interested in seeing where I'm at.
Yeah,
I just don't care where I'm at today. I just need to get better.
True. That's really
That's
interesting.
how it feels.
I feel like that's a very good like competitor mindset to have, or like I don't even know if you would call it a competitor mindset, but like you're like not even worried about like where you're placing, who you're beating, this silly stuff like that. You're just worried about your gameplay and
are
like
you
getting
getting
better
better?
as a player.
Yeah. Because it's kind of it's weird and kind of frustrating, and I still kind of feel bad and almost dodgy. I mean, I am still entering tournaments on Monday, but I feel like I should be entering Picantes and stuff. But like, I would rather be entering teams with Ryan if he's got time.
Yeah,
Um, but even the weeks where he doesn't, I just haven't been like, yeah, and plus it's after a full day of work. It is tough
Yeah.
to wake up at 6:30, get off, change clothes, and then like really want to go to a venue and try your best at a video game.
it is.
It is,
That is
it is
correct.
hard.
Yes, it's pretty hard.
I've done it. It's the only real
Yeah,
interaction I had with the game for years going to Geeks, but it's still hard.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially on a
yeah.
and so
Monday where it's like,
Fucking
you just got
Monday,
done with the
dude.
weekend.
Yeah,
yeah,
you want to rush, but
Mhm.
yeah.
yeah.
I totally agree. I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna if I don't go to Picante, then I'm definitely going. There's a what's it called, a Rock Hill tournament that might not even be that big, but I just want to go into a tournament. That'll be next
Oh yeah,
Tuesday.
yeah. The replays.
Yes, the
Yeah,
replays tournament. Shout outs to those guys too. Shout outs to Mark and Taki and all
yeah.
those dudes. Like PGH Neo Taki, Chris. Do you know who that is?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
When I went to I think it was when I went up to FC10R. I stayed at Carol's house on the way up there, and
Wow, that's some lore.
yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Taki was there. It was a dope fest. I can't tell you that I remember much of it, but it was a good time.
Yeah, Taki came to Wispy Woods 1 and he enters those replay tournaments every once in a while. That's how
Yeah.
he showed up. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully I run into them. I saw Isla was at 1, I saw Geg was at 1, 2.
Yep.
So I hope I get to play them some.
Is that like a
But yeah.
Virginia tournament?
No, it's like Charlotte-ish. It's
Oh,
like
okay, yeah,
Rock Hill, it's like very, very northernmost South Carolina. That's where that would be.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you go on the 85 and then you just keep going and then suddenly
And then
like,
you're in
oh,
South
we're not in
Carolina.
Charlotte, and
Then you pass Carowinds and you're in South Carolina. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I haven't asked you this, Chris. This is another question on the list. Who's your favorite Melee player to watch? I feel like I assume I know, but I don't know. I know.
Yeah, if you guessed Mango, you're correct.
Yeah.
The way he approaches the game is very similar to how I would like to, well, at least the way he appears to approach the game.
Yeah.
And so this gets at like the ideas that at least I used to have around the game, which are now like changing and I'm adapting them.
Yeah.
But just the concept of like intentions and layers.
Yeah.
And so, not to get too like technical, but like I think the first way that I describe this to people when I'm talking about it is like, imagine you're like a fox full hopping over somebody's shield.
Yeah.
Right? So the first intention would just be to come down with the back air. Like, I hit their shield.
Hit them. I hit their shield. Yeah.
Yeah. The second intention would be to land and try to tomahawk it.
Yeah.
To land and try to grab them. And then I think like the third intention would be to land, know that they don't want to get tomahawked, and then start planning for the roll read.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like that kind of layered play is the kind of stuff that I strive for, the kind of like, mental depth that I try to have in my own play. Yeah. And a lot of times like watching Mango play, I can just tell that he's like on the fourth or fifth intention. He's on like that level of the interaction being played out. And it just looks so hard to deal with. Just the way that he positions himself, just like, I know you want to do this because you're outplaying this thing that would normally happen right now.
Yeah.
And that kind of subversion of expectations, I love seeing that. And Mango to me is just the best at it. Cody and Zane are the best at doing what is expected and it being proper and it actually murdering people, but Mango is just by far to me the best at subverting expectation to create newer opportunities. And I love that about that.
It's crazy too because I've watched Mango play for 8-9 years now, and it's like there are points along the way where I'm like, well, surely he just, surely this just stops working, like surely people's punish game just gets so much better, or like you said, like with the Zane IBDW stuff, where it's like they're doing things correctly so well that surely this will just win out, right?
Yeah.
And no, at least not every day. And I am a Mango dick rider until the wheels fall off. But and I do not know another player who has neutral that good. And of course there's a million other things he's good at. But I mean, just like that, what you described about being able to play like around expectations and knowing what the other person's doing and get the absolute most out of like small things that other people maybe will neglect. No, I mean that's definitely why I've always been a Mango fan.
Yeah, dude, Mango's everybody I know loves Mango.
Yeah,
Mango fans are up right now after that
summit
win.
We're doing good.
We're up real high.
The last 4 months have been okay. It's not been perfect, but it's been pretty good. I mean, holy shit,
dude! After the fucking what was it? Like the ranking thing that they did.
And he was 11th. I was like, there just ain't no way. There just ain't no way. I fuck with Kadoran in fiction too, but I was like, in my mind, I'm like, ain't no way. And then now it's like, if these next 2 of the next 3 tournaments go well for him, then it's going to be like, well, are we going to have to consider that he might be the best player of the year in a year where he was like struggled pretty significantly? Like, we're going to have that conversation.
Yeah.
We're going to say, can a person who was like of our ranking, fringe top 10, be the best player in the world? Because now, as of right now, his head-to-heads against everyone, I think, except Amsa are positive. And he beat Amsa in winners finals the last tournament he won. So it's like, only, man, what a good year this has been for the game. It's been very entertaining to watch and to
true.
study.
I've loved that he's played some Fox again. Always love watching his Fox play.
I think I personally prefer his Falco, but I love his Fox to death too. His Falco is well, honestly, I mean, half of Mango's characters. Like, I still think that Mango's Falcon secretly does a lot of shit that's very hard to deal with. And that's always what I grew up. I watched him, S2J, and then Mike. Like, those are the people I watched. So, but yeah, no, Mango's the coldest take of all time. Mango is different. But yes, he is, and I guess it's surreal, like I said, because I remember, like, undisputed greatest player in the world, Mango, in like 2014, winning Evo for the second time, and how that's still, that can still be the same player, like 7.5, 8 years later.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. That guy has a kid now.
It's crazy as a child. Been having a kid. Like that was news at one point. Now Chris remembers. We're like, everyone's like, oh shit, Mango's a child. Like, what's going on here? But
yeah.
All right, let's jump around a little bit too. We got some send-in questions. I think a couple of these we kind of already talked about, but I'll start with the first one from G. It's from G. What is different in today's NC Melee scene versus back in the day? What do you miss most and miss the least about the old NC?
So this sounds like a community style question.
Yeah, I guess it probably is, yeah.
Yeah. So old NC, they were ruder, but in a way that included you in their in.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It was interesting. I came in at the tail end, but Chris knew the full extent of it.
Yeah. So like, it's hard to describe, but there's a level of meanness that you can only do with people that you were friends with.
Yeah. Yes.
And
that's true.
so there's a level of that missing. We are now a very polite group.
Yeah.
And that is not a bad thing.
No, it isn't.
But there are levels of that kind of joshing around type thing that you feel like, I feel like the only way I could probably describe is like sometimes you hear Josh Man talk and you feel like the Australian scene probably has that like needed out.
Right? Yes, absolutely, yes. They have that.
So it's kind of that where like, you can kind of mess around with people, but it sounds mean, but it's lighthearted. But it's like impossible to do that through text.
Yeah.
And so more NC interactions occur through text, which make that kind of thing much harder to like internalize and have it be a good thing. So yeah, that's kind of the long and short of it. I don't really miss it, but there's something to it of just like, it's a friendlier space, but it's a more, I guess I feel like I have an understanding of the politics of every person's kind of persuasion, much more than I had a sense of back in the day on Smashboard.
Yeah.
Um, Yet again, not an objectively bad thing, but
Mhm.
like just something just like, huh, okay, I know exactly where, a lot of people stand on certain issues. Um,
Yeah.
Whereas a lot
Um.
of that stuff was either just hidden or just wasn't talked about or it just didn't matter. I don't really know how to
Yeah.
describe it in a way that's productive, but
I think my attempt to summarize to build off because I started at a point where the scene was very much transitioning between the older part of things that you described and the like newer, more inclusive space. And
Mhm.
while I would say and agree with you that's an overall net positive, there was something very unique, the amount of energy that local crowds had to just
Yeah.
any tournament. This is not even if like good people like top 100 people showed up. We'd go hard then too, but it was just when fucking there was an old set now where me and Locke played at like a Charlotte tournament, and there were 50 people to the left of me just
Yeah.
screaming. I mean, just screaming their ass off. It's one of the funniest sets ever commentated because Mike and Cam were there. But
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
um, but yeah, I feel like while it's like the overall that it's a net positive, we've lost a bit of our touch and our edge in terms of being like very actively cheering and crowd oriented. But I will say, when I ran Wispy Woods 2, people were cheering like they
Yeah.
were kind of back in the in the older times, which I was really that was like I was happier than the tournament. That was like the biggest accomplishment of that tournament to me, that people
Yeah.
were cheering for every match happening.
Hell
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
So
that was my goal in showing up is to at least like try to provide some of that energy. It's the same energy I try to bring to Picante. I don't know.
yeah.
Neither of you were there. I was shit talking for Bell Money the whole time she was getting forced on. It was great. I was
Yeah.
like, God,
Yes. You're fucking better. Like yes. No. That's I
and
think
so
it's I think
that
it's the good form of that is starting to come back, Chris. At least it is in
yeah,
Triad. I can tell you that.
yeah. Um, and even the perceived bad form of it was just like for me it was the stuff of legends. Okay, like
Yeah.
Kevin Nash shit talked me so bad and said it wrong that I thought I was losing. Okay, the game screen came. I beat Haley M, and I didn't know I was winning. I was getting shit tossed. I thought I was losing. Like that was to
Yeah.
me was like the stuff of legend. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, get my ass beat.
And then you
Game.
win, and then he shakes your
Oh
hand. You're like, "Damn, I just beat that guy." You're like,
yeah.
"Yeah,
It was so funny to me. But it's the type of thing that you like, you can go, you can eat food after and laugh about it to me
yeah."
now.
Mhm.
But I feel like if that were to happen now, people would be like
People would be
legitimately
pissed. We would be
bothered.
pissed and
Yeah.
probably in their feelings. And that's
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, so be it. But that's what it
And I
would
mean
be.
it happened to me at the Arcadian. I was goofing around,
Yeah,
doing
I
shit
heard this
talking,
story.
and I got challenged to a money match. And I was like, that's not why I was here at all.
Yeah, I was just here to talk shit, bro. And I'm not really like beefing. Like this is just how you talk shit around here. Yeah, no. I heard about that. I heard that you were like the impetus, like the engine of the crowd, like 2 or 3 beers deep at that venue. I was happy to hear that. Because I was like, damn, fun, someone's doing it right. I feel like I'm the loudest person that cheers, and I know I told this to people. I go nowhere near as hard as I used to. I mean, I am
Yeah.
very I'm very reserved and thoughtful compared to how I used to be.
It was my goal to be like slightly belligerent but have fun with it. And even
Yeah,
when you challenged me to a money match, it was meant to be a fun thing, but it was definitely like a whoa, wait, no, I guess I'll shut up now because apparently people don't like this.
yeah, it's changed. Like I said, I think I saw it in a time where it was it was transitioning, so it's changed.
Yeah.
I know that.
Um,
All right, and so for the next question, we got
mhm.
from Johnny. I think you already talked about this a little bit. This one's from Johnny. He asks, "What was the defining moment that made you realize you wanted to drop Ganon and main Fox?"
um, Yeah. Like I said, that there was just a point where I was just like, if I have a Fox that is better than my Ganon at the Sheik matchup,
Mm-hmm.
then I have a Fox that's better than my Ganon. Actually, no, that's kind of cap. I realized I went to an Apex and I lost to two very specific characters. I lost to Sheik and I lost to Link
Holy shit.
as Ganondorf. And I was like, I think it was when I realized I had an even matchup with Link. I wasn't even mad that I lost to the Link.
Yeah.
Maybe it was even Young Link. But it was just like I just lost an even matchup. And I was like, wait, why do I have an even matchup with Link? Like, what am I doing? And I think I still had like aspirations of being Kevin's teammate, like and stuff like that. And I was like, I can't keep doing this as Ganon. Like I can't
Mm-hmm.
keep trying to make PP carry Ganon going around places and like, doing this when,
Yeah.
because I used to watch him team with Lozer and Ye, and I was like, damn, I want to be next up when Ye's done. And it just never worked out that way. But I was like, I can't keep doing this as Ganon. Like I can't have these aspirations and have an even matchup with Link. Like it just didn't make sense.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah,
That's
totally
So,
makes
actually
sense.
great.
That's actually a
yeah.
very rational point.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, losing to legitimately. I don't think it was Tafikins, but maybe it might have been. Um, but it was like a West Coast Sheik. No, I think it was Song actually. I think I lost to Song, and then I lost
Oh,
to like an
wow.
Arizona Link, like Slurpee or something goofy. I can't remember his name,
Yeah.
but like it was like they were solid players, but I was like, why?
Why is this even?
Like,
Why
this
is
is
this
just
fucking
so
even?
fair.
Yeah.
I was like, I got outplayed. When I was like, I got outplayed in an even matchup. It's like, why? Yeah. So yeah, I came home from that and I was just like, yeah, I'm not really doing it myself outside of like ice climbers because I was just lazy about learning that
I
one.
mean, I feel like that's kind of fair though. Playing
Yeah.
Ganon versus Ice Climbers versus like Fox. But
Yeah.
anyways, and our last viewer question is from Peel. He asks, "You played a Kirby player at Guam or Quam?
Quam. Quam.
Guam?
Dude, that misspelling
Yeah.
is fucking hilarious. Yeah, go ahead, Bups. I'm sorry.
What were your thoughts going into the set, during the set, and after the set?"
That feels like a
Uh,
troll question, but go ahead.
yeah. I mean, going into the set, I was not worried much at all. Um, it was just a funny spectacle because I was not trying to shit talk cold at all, like directly.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not losing to Kirby. I've lost enough money to Kirby over the years. I've challenged PP's Kirby to three separate $3 money matches over the years, and all of them. I'm pretty sure at the last one I was already PR'd. I thought of myself as a decent player. Still got my ass whooped. 'Cause I'm losing to some other Kirby. Like it just comes out. So, and so I was just like, there's like no, like whatever weird Kirby tech you're working on, like I'm just gonna look at the screen and not do anything too stupid to lose to this. And
And that's how
so
the
and so
set
my
went.
thoughts after the set was this is a lot of change to put in my piggy bank right now, but we're gonna make it work. Because it was spare change. It was hilarious. Um, no, it was a fun set though. I'm
Okay,
glad
so
that at the end they
it
gave
wasn't
like
like a bracket match. It was like a money match.
yeah, no, it was a money match. It was it
Okay.
was their spare change, and I brought my piggy bank, um, and yeah, I think they dumped the change out of the box onto the counter, so I had to kind of scoop it up, put it in the piggy bank, and whatnot. It was a good time. Um, but yeah, I wasn't really trying to have like bad feelings or anything, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
even think I'm that much of a better player, but I think about myself pretty negatively a lot of times. And I think I'm that much better than Cold because I've seen Cold do some dirty things to people. I feel like, but I knew I wasn't gonna lose to Kirby. So I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, I might lose to Fox Ditto. I'm not even on front. Like they were on controller Fox. Like I could lose to Fox Ditto. I'm not losing to Kirby.
Yeah, I'm not fucking out here trying to lose the funny Sakurai character, bro.
Yeah.
Nah, fuck
No.
that shit.
Nah.
Fuck that
How are we doing on time for you, Chris? I have like maybe like one more question that we could talk about.
As long as it's not like literally 7:30 and then I need to scarf down food and then like try
Yeah.
to be in the bracket, I'm good.
Okay.
All right.
So
Pop it,
you
Bups.
mentioned being PR'd. Um, what was that period like for you? Maybe like a little bit beforehand and then onwards.
Yeah. So me coming up in like that kind of way is weird. So it's all a very gradual process for me. And it's still kind of weird like looking at the PRs and being like, I don't think I was better than any of these people. How did I get
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
um and so a lot of times for me it was about just I think I was legitimately like the most active player in
Yeah.
a lot of those eras. I just used to go to everything. Enough stuff was held on the weekends to where I could just go to most anything
Yeah.
in state. And so I was very active and I didn't get upset very often. And
Yep.
I think that's why I used to consider myself kind of a gatekeeper. Like if you were good and you got good, you could beat me because I was terrible at training. I did not train very well. I did
Yeah.
not get very much better. But like, so if you got good, you could beat me. But if you weren't like a certain level of like looking at the screen and having a punish game and like having a plan for certain situations, then I would just kind of win.
Yeah.
Um, and so the thing is that once you get PR once, you end up seated well. So a lot of times, and like for years, the only things I would go to were Geeksboroughs. I was
Yeah.
very lazy about traveling, but I would show up to Geeks.
Yeah.
But you couldn't catch me at a Raleigh tournament unless it was on a weekend because I was an adult. I didn't really like driving on a Tuesday to go to Smith's house. So,
Yeah.
like it wasn't happening. so, so, I got PR once, and it's like, okay, well, usually I would just, kind of coast in the semis at least. And so just by the virtue of like not losing to anybody seated below me, like, crazily. And
Mm-hmm.
so like I'd get a top three, top two placement. I'd probably lose to somebody else who was about to get PR'd, but otherwise I just didn't really lose sets. So from my standpoint, it just felt like I would just show up. I got good seating eventually. Like I probably like upset Cam or Josh some season or another, and it was just like, bam, I got good seating now. And you just don't lose bad losses.
Yeah.
And the panel was just like, well, I guess they're still roughly where they are.
Yeah. You
Uh,
would be 15th or 10th or whatever that would be. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was just like, I'm just like, a decent active player who goes to everything in Greensboro. And sure, I had a win whatever record against Safe. So they
Yeah.
just kept um I did have like a decent amount of pride in how I played. Like I really didn't want to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um so that's what a lot of that era was like to me. I did not like losing. I still don't like losing, but like that kind of gatekeeper kind of era was just like, okay, I guess Zos is good now, or I guess Red is good now, or
Yeah. Yeah.
a lot of things like that came up, but it was just like I will try to win the game in front of me, and I guess often enough, the panel was like, yeah, I guess he's one of the better players in this state.
Yeah.
Um, I would like to get there again. I think I'm simultaneously very close to it and feel very far from it. Um, so it's weird because like the last thing I entered was Wispy One,
Yep.
where I beat Simmons.
You
I
did
I
well that
did
tournament.
something right.
You did well that tournament.
Yeah, but like I still came out of it feeling like, man, I know one matchup, and it's because there's somebody in PP's sub environment who just grinds Falcon.
Yeah.
And he would summon me for games and we would play. And at that point, I was like, okay, I feel like I kind of know one matchup. and I don't really know what I'm doing in any of the others, which is kind of why I haven't been entering. Because like, I
Yeah.
know one matchup, and I beat Simmons in that one matchup, but I do not feel good about my level of play in like anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of just trying to camp out and wait until I feel good about competing and being a competitor and beating a character not named Falcon.
Of course, it's Falcon too. Why would it not be?
Yeah,
Why
it's
would it
pretty
not be Falcon?
simple.
Yeah.
It turns out like they're simple, but like I had to like watch a fiction lesson on how to beat them. Like, oh, I need to not leave the ground. I need to wave dash up tilt. I
Yeah.
need to bear at the high point of their,
Yep.
recovery and things of that sort. So like
Yeah.
I'm just
That'll.
like finally like 12 years in, actually figuring out, oh, this is how a matchup works.
Yeah.
You have things, and it's not just like, oh, I'm just gonna read you as a human on your timings about when you like to do things, and then I'm gonna have to hit you 8 times as many times you hit me, but I'm the better player. I'll just do that. No, it's an
Turns out.
unsustainable form of play. And
Turns out delayed double up tilt's really fucking good. It's just good in general. I have to be clearly better than you to beat you consistently doing that. Yeah. So,
yeah.
yeah, I hope we play again too, Chris, because I haven't played Fox Falcon in a while. I've been usually more on the Falco Falcon and more on the Puff Falcon side of things, but I hope we play Fox Falcon again sometime.
I'm around. I'm around.
Yeah,
I
you
play
are.
singles when summoned. I do not do that stuff on purpose very often. I'm getting back into it. It's like, either I'm playing doubles or I'm solo training. I play singles on purpose.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Harry, do you have any other questions?
No, I think that's probably a good spot to call it.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
no, thank you for coming in and talking
Yeah.
to us,
Thanks for
Chris. I'm
thanks for
glad
coming on tonight, Chris.
you answered pretty
Anytime.
much everything I wanted to hear from a question standpoint. Of course, we'll talk about more things later because I mean me and Chris. I guess we're at least been friends. You're at least my mentor for a long time, so it's like yeah. So, but yeah, no, there'll be more later. I'm certain.
Chris,
It's been a pleasure.
anyone you want to shout out real quick?
Um, Shout outs to Snake for
Yeah.
still
Shout
continuing
out
to
to
push
Steve.
buttons with me. Love that guy.
Yeah.
Um, Shout outs to my other preferred teammate who came in clutch, being a good groomsman, David, aka Marklar.
Oh,
Love
fucking, I
him
love
wherever you
David. Shout outs to
are.
that guy, man.
I haven't heard from him in a while, but I hope he's doing well wherever he's at. Um, as far as like random names, shout outs to Wei Lin for being a
Yes.
great person and a great
Yeah.
competitor. We've split so many sets over the years; it's actually insane.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Shout outs to Melee.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Really good game. That was just a really good game.
It turns out right. Yeah, it's
Sometimes
21, almost 21 years after the fact, and we're still playing it. So it must be pretty
That's
good.
actually so wild.
really
All right. So for updates before we close the stream, in Boone on Friday, 4 to 8 at Ori's game
Ori's.
corner. We got the Ori's local, $5 total for the event. It's mostly training, hanging out with friends. So come through for that. Shout out to Ogre for coming last time. I think he's coming
Yep.
again.
Yeah, I think Ogre is going up there again.
The 19th, I
Is
want to
Bibber,
say.
right?
19th is Bibber, yeah. And then everybody be looking forward to the start of next year. Harry, I know you've got the
Yeah, I
big,
have the Wispy Wood circuit.
Mhm.
That'd be tight. I announced that the other week. That tournament is a open qualifier into invitational top 24. It should be tight. It
it's
was
gonna be
a
dope.
tournament.
It's gonna be sick.
It was a tournament. I saw all the like CS:GO tournaments and how they had structured things, and I was like, hey, maybe what if I try a tournament like that on like a more manageable scale, and that'll be my attempt at it. If you want, you look up on start.gg. Any North Carolina person who lives here can enter. It's start.gg and it's Wispy Woods Superstar Circuit Qualifier 1, I think is what it's called. And Shout outs to Picante. Picante will happen. The next
Monday.
Picante will happen this coming Monday, so that's the
Mhm.
14th. So,
I might be
yeah,
able to
that's-
make it to
that's
that
it.
one this week, or next
Yeah,
week. I'm
I
gonna
hope you do.
try, but we'll see. Actually, I don't think I can. Actually, now that
Okay.
I'm remembering, because I have to drive someone to the airport. But
Adult.
yeah.
Adult.
Other than that, let's see. There was one more thing I think. Oh yeah, doubles on the Donator tonight. Chris, good luck at that.
Yeah, good
Everybody
luck,
else,
Chris.
good luck.
I think you and Grant are gonna, or it's you and Grant, right? You and me. Yeah, y'all will be
Hell
okay.
yeah.
Hey, I'll be all right.
All right.
Played doubles with both of you. Hey, all right. Thank you again.
Yeah,
I
thanks
guess that's
again.
it, isn't it?
Thanks everybody who's been watching so far, and we'll see you guys
Yeah.
next week.
We'll see y'all.